Hey nerds, what's up? It's your boy Parzival here, and we are back again doing another reaction. This time it is apparently for the new 8.3 release that'll be coming probably within the next few months for World of Warcraft. This is titled the Watch the New Developer Content Update Preview. It apparently covers quite a few different things. Covers the raid, supposedly new allied races, and a whole bunch of other stuff. This dropped maybe about an hour or so ago. Um, so I tried to get to this as quickly as possible because for those, for everybody else who watches me, who are huge World of Warcraft fans, uh, we were hoping that after the end of the war campaign, that very quickly they were going to give us some new 8.3 stuff, or just 8.3 stuff in general. So um, I haven't looked at the list of things that this whole 18 minutes covers because I kind of want to be surprised. I don't want to know everything that's happening going into watching this video, so I want my reaction to be as as natural as possible for you guys. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. Again, this video is marked at 18 minutes and 38 seconds, so it's a pretty decent video. Which means they're probably going to be covering quite a few things. Just, probably little tidbits of everything that comes with 8.3, which will probably be the last patch of the expansion, would be my guess. Um, so yeah, let's get into it and see what Mr. Ian Hazacostas has for us for 8.3.
Hey everybody. It has been
Hi
an
Ian.
amazing month for World of Warcraft. Ever since WoW Classic launched on August 26th, we've seen millions of players around the world jump in to explore Azeroth as it stood before the Cataclysm. Whether you're revisiting old memories or experiencing it for the very first time, it's been humbling for the team to share in the community's passion and enthusiasm around this classic experience. We've seen players hit max level, we have seen Onyxia and Ragnaros fall, several sulfuruses have been crafted around the world. We've even heard about a couple of epic BOEs ninja looted, shame on you, and many, many Devil Swords have
Asmongold,
fallen and donated their leather to fuel
you
the server's
toxic
economy
bastard.
of Devil Sword leather. We've also heard from many of you that you're ready for something new to sink your teeth into.
Oh, no,
And
really?
so, while we originally had
You
this
don't
Phase 2
say.
plan that was going to be Dire Maul Dungeon, world bosses, and the honor system for PvP, I'm happy to announce that we're going to break Dire Maul out separately and get it out there as soon as possible. In fact, just a couple of weeks from now, the week of October 15th, the Dire Maul Dungeon will go live worldwide in Classic. So get ready to
Well, that'll be
craft those
great for
ogre
classic
suits,
players.
practice those tribute runs, and get your hands on that sweet, sweet loot from Dire Maul. Of course, we still have the honor system and world bosses just around the corner after that, and I'll share more detailed information on exactly when to expect that as soon as we have it. But we can't wait to see everybody jump into Dire Maul. Now, it's also been an incredible couple of weeks in Battle for Azeroth. Just last
Eh,
week, we saw patch 825 go live, and players around the world got to experience the thrilling end to the
I
war
wouldn't say
campaign,
incredible.
as Saurfang's
Couple
long
weeks.
journey brought him to
It
stand
was like an
side by
incredible
side with
day.
Anduin in front of the gates of Orgrimmar, facing down Sylvanas and her forces to bring this battle that has consumed
Bitch.
all of Azeroth to an end once and for all. But in the meantime, there are other threats that have been lurking in the shadows. Lest we forget our adventures in Nazjatar, and at the end of Eternal Palace, when we faced down Queen Ashara herself, we did so against the backdrop of an ancient prison built to contain one of the mightiest of all evils that Azeroth has ever known, the old god N'Zoth. And as Queen Ashara fell, with her last gasp, the lock, the final seal that contained N'Zoth, was broken, and he was fully unleashed. And so what does that mean for us? Well, I'm excited to announce that the next major content update coming to World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth is Visions of N'Zoth that will answer that question and so much more.
Oh, we're definitely going to
For the
Ny'alotha.
first time, we're going to see an old god unleashed in their full might, in their dark fury. We have seen
Finally.
Cthulhu's Eye. We have seen Yogg
Oh
Saron
my
locked away in
god.
prison. We have heard of Ysarge, who perished long, long ago. But now, for the first time, we are contending with an old god that is fully free of all shackles, to roam Azeroth, to reach out with his tentacles and tendrils and plot and plan and undermine all that keeps us safe. That is the threat that we face in Visions of
It's
N'Zoth.
about time.
Ny'alotha, the sleeping city, the dreaming city, as some have called it, is the domain of the Black Empire. It is this alternate world inhabited by the old gods and their minions.
Oh
And it's
wow,
not a
there's
distant
Veil of Eternal
location for us to
Shadows.
travel to via a starship or a portal. It's in fact all around us, on the other side of this thin veil. And what N'alotha is doing is tearing that veil down, bringing horrible nightmares and dark visions of a future in which the forces of the old god are
Oh,
ascendant into our
that's
world.
pretty cool.
And if we don't stop him, there will be nothing left
So
of Azeroth
he's
to
trying to
defend.
bridge the
Because this has
two
been a battle for Azeroth between the Alliance and
dimensions
Horde,
together.
but it's also always been a battle for the safety of Azeroth, for the future of Azeroth that our heroes have been waging all along. And this now is coming to its conclusion. Now, Titan facilities across Azeroth are the key to containing, controlling, and understanding the power of N'alotha. The Titans have always been our world's last bulwark against the assault of the old gods. And so, of course, those facilities are being assaulted by
Oh, of
the
course.
minions of N'alotha, whether humanoid allies, horrible insects, or the eldritch creatures of the old gods themselves. We're going to have to rally to their defense and actually venture through these rifts into the world that N'alotha's minions inhabit, into an alternate reality
That's
that
gonna be cool.
reflects the manifestation of all of N'alotha's goals, to analyze it, understand the power of the old gods, and destroy these visions from within. Let me talk about what that actually means in practice in terms of gameplay. Now, the first sign of N'alotha's power that we're going to witness firsthand are assaults by his minions on two key locations in Azeroth
I
that are
just love
home
that
to
art
Titan
right there.
facilities. Now, these
When
Titan
N'alotha,
facilities are our world's last defense, our
it just
final
looks really
bulwark
good.
against N'alotha coming completely into our world and plunging it into madness. So when an assault is active, the zone will be overcome with powerful lieutenants of N'alotha, enemies to defeat, treasures to uncover, puzzles to solve, and much more. Building out this content has drawn upon everything that we've learned in making assaults in Tides of Vengeance, as well as major zones like Mechagon and Nashtatar most recently. Now let's take a look at a couple of these locations. First off, Uldum,
Oh,
home to the
Uldum.
Halls of Origination, a great Titan vault, is going to come under regular assault by the minions of N'alotha. When an assault is active in the zone,
Ooh.
players will rally to Uldum and battle across the zone
That
against
looks
the
really
old god's
good.
minions.
Oh,
Now,
that
another key
looks
location in
cool.
Azeroth that's home to a major Titan facility is the Veil of Eternal Blossoms back in Pandaria. Mogushan Vaults is what I'm referring to, of course. Now, last time we saw the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, it had been blighted
Yeah.
with dark Shah energy unleashed by Garrosh towards the end of Mists of
Dick.
Pandaria. Now, the passage of time and the natural redemption that came at the end of that arc has finally healed those old wounds to the land. And the Veil stands fully restored to its original glory for all players to visit in this next content update. At least until it comes under attack by the minions of the old god
Oh,
and is
ooh.
once again plunged into a new type of darkness. Don't
New
worry,
dungeon?
it's only going to look like this while N'alotha is actively assaulting it.
New dungeon?
Otherwise, and in the long run, the original pristine Veil is here to stay. But you'll want to journey here, fight off the old
I
god's
hope there's at
minions,
least one new dungeon.
unravel the mysteries behind them,
that would be cool.
and do everything you can to thwart this great threat that's facing Azeroth. Now, Visions of N'alotha isn't just the name of this content update, it's also the name of its major new feature. By completing assaults, you'll be able to earn your way into the deepest recesses of N'alotha's mind and the reality that's seeking to manifest itself across Azeroth. There are these horrific visions, which are 1 to 5 player content centered around the capital cities of Orgrimmar and Stormwind, that show us an alternate reality of what might come to pass if we do not succeed. Here we see maps of Orgrimmar and Stormwind indicating the deepening corruption the farther into the cities we go.
Hey,
Now,
that's
when you
cool.
first enter a horrific vision,
Oh,
I
wow.
can virtually guarantee you're not going to make it very far. Your mind will succumb to N'alotha's relentless assault. As your sanity slips away, you'll begin to experience effects, various detrimental effects, some cosmetic, some very serious mechanical hindrances, as your sanity literally is drained by being within this horrific vision and by facing off against N'alotha's minions. You will have to retreat, but you'll do it taking with you the things that you've learned along the way. which will enable you to build better defenses for your
Okay.
future trips. Now, we're going to be working with none other than Wrathion, son of Deathwing, who knows a thing or two about corruption, because his father, of course, was famously plunged into madness by N'alotha's corruption. And what else does Wrathion know very well? Well, of course, legendary cloaks. And Wrathion is going to work with us to create a legendary cloak that will initially provide some sort
Okay.
of defense, some sort of shield against
Oh,
N'alotha's sanity-draining
the
attacks.
middle one just looks kind of
This will
generic,
enable
but
us
the
to
other two
venture
look kind of
deeper and
cool.
deeper into these visions on our successive visits, earning greater rewards, also unlocking more of the mysteries behind N'alotha's power. This cloak may actually also come in handy when you face off against N'alotha himself further
Probably.
down the road. Now, in addition to the
That's
legendary
cool, though.
cloaks, you'll also be taking fragments of N'alotha's corruption out of these horrific visions with you. You can bring them to Mother and Magni to analyze and research, which will allow you and allow them to strengthen your defenses against N'alotha's corruption and give you new tools to battle him and his minions. These will
Say
help
what?
with future visits into the horrific visions, allowing you to delve deeper, overcome greater threats, and weather the effects of his sanity-draining attacks.
Blizzard just
Ever
loves
since the
giving
Mage
us
Tower
something
in
to
Legion,
farm
we've been looking for a way to provide a more satisfying solo progression experience and a real challenge that you can work towards on your own without needing a group of dungeon players.
Just pause this for a second. Don't get me wrong. I'm very excited about the legendary cloak thing. I think it's like a cool, unique thing to add into the game. But you just gave us the grind with the necks. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it won't be much of a grind, but I doubt it. I'm sure it's going to be fucking terrible. Getting these fragments to boost this new thing, but we'll see. You know, maybe it'll be cool. It's just it gets to the point where it's like, how many more new things can you introduce in the game where the grind's going to be terrible, right? So, anyways,
Players or
let's get back
raiders
to it.
or a battleground group at your side. And that's one of our goals, really, in crafting this Visions of N'alotha feature and these horrific visions. This is an experience that you can go into entirely solo and work your way through, making progress further and further each time as you gain the benefit of Titan
I do
research,
like the visual
understand
effect
the tricks and the threats
of
posed
the
by
alternate
N'alotha's
reality
enemies, and
and how
eventually
it looks and
fully
affects
clear the
the
vision
zones.
at the end of your journey.
I think that
And
looks
of course,
cool.
you can also bring friends in with you. We've made this experience something that will scale seamlessly from 1 to 5 players, regardless of your role, and the rewards are equal regardless of the size of your group. We want to let you experience this the way that best suits your playstyle. We can't wait to let players check this out on the PTR.
That's cool
and
that
hear
you don't
from
need
what
like a
you think.
normal 5-man group, like
All
a
of
tank,
this
a
is
healer,
leading to a
3
showdown
DPS.
with N'alotha himself. And that journey is going to take us into the sprawling raid that is the centerpiece of this
Ny'alotha.
content update. Ny'alotha, a 12-boss raid that showcases the full
12
splendor
bosses,
of the Black
nice.
Empire. We're going to have to fight our way through the military might of N'alotha's minions, disgusting spawning pools that have created
Oh, look
the
at that
corruptions that
guy.
we've seen across the
Whoa.
years, the insectoid
That little
allies and minions of N'alotha,
demon wraith
those
fucking thing?
humans
That
that have
was
decided to
awesome.
embrace his cause of corruption, and much more.
Oh, there's a
At the end
Shara.
of this journey awaits the old god himself. We're going to need all of our allies, all of our might, all that we have learned
that looks
through our research,
awesome.
our work with Magni, and channeling the power of Azeroth herself in order to emerge triumphant and save Azeroth.
Wow.
We also have a number of changes coming
Some of
to
those
our
new
reward
models
systems
look
with Visions of
awesome.
N'alotha. In addition to the legendary cloak that I mentioned earlier, that you can earn and upgrade to defend yourself against N'alotha's assaults, we'll also have new levels for the Heart of Azeroth that come with it both passive benefits and an all-new essence slot. Now, that slot can be filled by a number of new essences that you'll be able to earn through content such as the assaults on Uldum and Vale of Eternal Blossoms, delving into horrific visions, our new Mythic Plus
New
season,
essences.
PvP, the Ny'alotha raid, and more. And
The
also,
grind is real in World of
as we're
Warcraft, y'all.
seeing
The grind is real.
assaults by the minions of N'alotha on Titan Forges around the world, we have to wonder, is it possible that these assaults on Titan Forges might somehow change the nature of Titan forging? This is something we are still discussing, and we are working on a plan that we'll be able to roll out in the very near future, but we're excited about the idea of
getting rid of Titan
embracing the old god threat this time around to replace Titan forging with something a bit different, something a bit more twisted and corrupt.
Thank fucking god. I hate Titan forging. Titan forging is one of the worst things that Blizzard has ever introduced into the game. Get that shit out of my game. You literally can't give us anything worse than Titan forging. Titan forging is literally the dumbest fucking thing you've ever introduced into this game. So anything you give us to replace Titan forging, I'm all for.
That also ideally works to preserve the value of item level and the correlation between doing difficult content and getting the best rewards. Also coming in Visions of N'Zoth, at long last, are a couple of new allied races joining the Horde and the Alliance. First off, on the Horde side, in a shock to everyone I'm sure, we have the Volpera of Vol'dun, who will be joining the Horde.
That's cool.
And if you've completed the Vol'dun level up questline, and you're exalted with the Vol'dunai, you'll be able to jump in Visions of N'Zoth, complete a questline, and run around as a Volpera of your very own.
Sweet.
Alpaca not included.
No!
So, on the Alliance side, in the meantime, the Mechanomes of Mechagon are joining their gnomish brethren on the Alliance.
Man.
Grateful for the aid that's been rendered in overthrowing the despotic rule of King Mechagon, the Mechanomes will complete a quest line for those of you who are exalted with Mechagon
The Horde's
and can join the Alliance, and you too can have a gnome of your very own with a robot arm and or leg, your choice. I'm also happy to share that we're adding new Heritage Armor quest lines for the recently updated Goblin and Worgen, coming in Visions of N'Zoth.
Oh, you gonna show them what it looks like?
On the Goblin side, you'll be able to earn this perfectly suitable set, complete with explosives
that
and
looks fucking
rockets
terrible.
And everything else that makes a Goblin's cold heart happy.
That looks awful.
And of course, for Worgen, what Worgen would be complete without a top hat that you can at long last use to express your true snooty inner self? Or just walk around as a wolf in a top hat. Who doesn't want to do that, really? Also coming with Visions of N'Zoth is a complete overhaul of
Worgen Heritage Armor looks
this
great.
Isn't just a UI reskin, but we actually redesigned
Goblin Heritage
and
Armor
rebuilt
looks
the
like
guts
booty.
of the system to make it faster.
That looks like
more
the most
performant,
boring,
and to
generic
get rid of
fucking
those
thing I've
annoying
ever seen in my
single
life.
stacks that literally no one likes. We recognize that there are hundreds of thousands of transactions happening across our auction houses on a regular basis, and we want to create a modern system that's smooth and easy to use.
Okay.
In redesigning the auction house, we had a couple of major goals. First off, we wanted to make the whole thing smoother and more performant. This is something that we started working on right around the launch of Battle for Azeroth, when folks may remember the auction houses were clogged with tons and tons of single stacks, and searches and even purchasing or selling things might take several seconds or upwards of a minute in some unfortunate cases. We want to make sure that never happens again.
Excuse me, guys.
Separately, we want to tailor the auction house functionality to the way that most people use it most frequently. And so, if you're just somebody who goes to the auction house periodically to buy consumables for your raid or to sell some extra stacks of cloth or ore, we want to make that as smooth and as seamless a process as possible.
I mean, it pretty much is now.
The first major change that we've made is separating out stackable items to effectively create a separate commodities market. Where you can just go list a stack of ore or cloth or potions, and people who are purchasing them can purchase portions of a stack. There's no more sense of there's one of this and two of this. There just happen to be 117 pieces of ore at this price, listed by 7 or 8 different buyers. If you want to buy them, you can just buy 15 pieces. It'll buy part of someone's stack, send them the gold. If you've listed a stack and only part of it sold, you'll get the gold for what's sold and the remainder back in the mail to you. Also, we have the ability to favorite items and create a shopping list for yourself. So if you regularly forget the name of that specific cut of gem or that consumable, you can just have a checklist that you can quickly search for and buy on the go. And on the selling
actually
side, you don't
really
have to
cool.
worry
I
about
like that.
stack sizes as you're listing your goods, and undercutting is much less of a factor in the market as it plays out in practice.
That's good too.
Ultimately, we've just tried to offer improved functionality, a smoother interface, and faster responsiveness for people on all sides of the market, as well as some of the power users out there. We can't wait for people to check it out on the PTR. Let us know what you think.
I don't think it'll affect the people that really play the auction house too much, but
so that's just some of what Visions of N'Zoth has to offer. Also coming in this content update is a heroic version of the Darkshore Warfront, a new PvP season, Season 4 of Battle for Azeroth, with, of course, all new rewards, and a new mythic keystone affix that reflects N'Zoth's corrupting influence as his tendrils spread their way across Azeroth. With this corrupted affix active, when you go into a dungeon in Season 4, you'll see occasional Black Empire obelisks dotting the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Interacting with one of these obelisks will pull you into an alternate world where we see N'Zoth's power ascendant and a powerful lieutenant of his stands guard. Defeating that lieutenant will return you to your regular reality, but will do so in whatever location you're currently standing when that mini-boss is defeated. This will enable some interesting skips that don't involve the use of Shroud of Concealment or invisibility. Now, of course,
Oh.
if you keep these minions alive and you just decide to ignore them entirely, they may come and pay you a visit as you're fighting the final boss of the dungeon. So you'll want to strategize very carefully as you approach dungeons with the corrupted affix in play during BFA Season 4. Now, you may
That's
be
cool.
wondering when you're
I
going to
like
get to
that.
check all of this out. Well, I'm very happy to announce that we're working literally as I speak on getting this uploaded to our public test realm for the entire world, and we should have it live later today.
Oh.
You'll be able to jump in, check out assaults by N'Zoth's minions, venture
So
into
my
your
guess
very
is
first horrific visions,
probably
and much more. And just
December.
after that, stay tuned for news regarding multiplayer raid testing and more. Thank you all so much.
January,
We'll be listening
maybe?
very closely to all of your feedback from the PTR. And just around the corner after that, see you at BlizzCon.
We'll see you at BlizzCon. All right, let's go look at a couple things here. Really, the one thing I gotta say is like some of the new features, like the assaults, I think look cool. I just like the idea of us traveling between like alternate dimensions. You know, the dimension that we know of right now in Azeroth, and then the one where we go to like the dream realm where the Zoth and the old gods, are at. Well, N'Zoth primarily, and how he's trying to merge the two together. So let's look here. Um, actually, okay, here we go. So here are the legendary cloaks. Obviously, this is the first iteration that you get. Very tentacly, same kind of color palette as what we see in the art behind Rathian here. By the way, Rathian looks like a boss. I love his sword. I think it looks dope. Um, this obviously then is the next upgrade or the first upgrade. Looks very reminiscent to a lot of the cloaks that you can get now. So it's nothing too special, but visually, anyways, cosmetically. But again, it's cool. But this I really like. I love the star constellations in here. I love the difference in color. I wonder if this and the glyphs, or maybe and even some of the stars, I wonder if those will glow or kind of like, or just illuminate in any kind of way. I also wonder if this is going to have a special kind of visual animation like the cloaks did. Was it Miss Pandaria when we had the legendary cloaks? I think so. But how each one had like a different animation that would happen as it procced, and so I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. But I think that's cool, them introducing the legendary cloaks. Next is this thing right here, which is the Titanic Research Archive. So this is where when you get the corrupted fragments, when you're going into those like 1 to 5 man scenarios, where you get to collect those corrupted fragments. All of that goes into kind of like the research thing you did on the boat. That cost order resources. Obviously, this is going to cost these corrupted essences. So I'll be curious to see how it buffs or changes your gameplay. For just open world content and for all the other new content we'll be getting. I'll be curious to see how this is. A couple of these icons are the same, so I wonder if those are just placeholder icons. To try not to give anything away too much, so we'll see. What else we got here? Oh yeah, let's look at. So this is the new raid. This guy right here, like the dragon. The dragon looks cool, but we've seen plenty of dragons. But this guy right here, I don't know what he's meant to be, but he looks. Actually, you know what I wonder? I wonder if. You know how you're going around the world and you see just like these black kind of wispy ghost-like looking things. I wonder if those were precursors, like the first kind of clues to the whole alternate dimension, N'Zoth type thing. And I wonder if those things are these guys right here. I mean, regardless of her or not, the character model on this guy right here looks phenomenal. I really like it. This motherfucker right here, I'm not sure why he has wings because it looks like he's kind of stuck in this little portal thing, but he looks really, really good. I really like that character model. I think that looks phenomenal. And then here we go. Nope, not Ian. No one cares about Ian. Again, here, these all look like the Titan Uldum uh, character models and how they're all corrupted and infected. It just looks very interesting. Again, we get another. Actually, we get two more slots for our next. We get another stamina buff because right now I believe it ends here. So we get another 3% increase to our stamina plus a brand new slot. Plus they said, he said there are new essences um, that you can get. So I'm hoping it's not too many more. Like, give us two. I don't think we need any more than two. If I'm being honest with you, with everything else we're gonna have to grind, I think two new essences is more than enough. So here we go. So now we have the Volpera, the Horde get, which I'm fine with. I think just about everybody knew that the Horde were going to get the Volpera. I don't think that was a shock to anybody. Uh, I really wish I played Alliance because these fuckers look awesome. I love the Mechanomes. I think the Mechanomes are great. I think their racial ability is going to be sick. I bet you their mount is going to be fucking phenomenal. Oh, man. I wish I was Alliance because I really want to play a Kultiran. I think Kultirans right now are the coolest looking race in the game. These fuckers are going to be close. These guys are going to be really close. I think the next thing was the Heritage Armors, right? Look how like this is so lazy. Why does he not have engineering goggles, like a different type of engineering goggle? This literally looks like orc armor with a little bit of goblin aesthetics to it. Yeah, you got like a little rocket thing on your shoulder and some dynamite on the other, but like, does this really scream goblin? This this is to me this is pure laziness. Pure laziness because this doesn't scream goblin to me at all. This is a very piss poor attempt at a goblin heritage armor. I'm sure some people are going to love it and that's fine. To me, it's pure laziness. It's terrible. It honestly, honest to God, looks like if you went through Classic WoW and you walked up to any orc, he would be wearing something very similar to this, with the red shoulder pads, the metal gauntlets, the metal boots with the red highlights. To me, this doesn't really scream Goblin at all. I'm very, very disappointed in this. Now, this is going to make a lot of people happy, especially Evitel, Taliesin Evitel, because one of the things that she has been clamoring for the Worgen Heritage Armor is top hats. She has constantly said, I don't know how many times, that if there is not a freaking top hat on the Worgen Heritage Armor, she was going to rise. She was going to burn Blizzard to the ground. So I'm sure if anyone is going to love this look, it's going to be Evitel. I'm sure Taliesin is going to love it too, but Evitel's been very vocal about there being top hats, so I hope this makes her happy. I think this looks phenomenal. I really, really do. I think this is probably next to the Zandalari Troll Heritage Armor. I think this is probably, uh, well, actually, between the Zandalari and the Kultiran Heritage Armors, this is without question the next best one. I would put this. I would actually rank this as the second best, possibly even the best heritage armor we've seen so far to date, just slightly behind the Kultiran. Um, but I think this is phenomenal. I love the top hat. I think the top hat is great. I really, really do. I'm of course, typical WoW fashion. Ears are going to clip through it because why bother changing the coding to this point, right? Why bother trying to fix that? Ears are just going to break through everything. See, my ears are coming to my head. Oh no, they're not. Yikes. But anyways, I love the heritage armor for the Worgen. I think it looks phenomenal. I like the idea for the new auction house system. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. I think it's gonna take some getting used to for some people, but I think once you've kind of messed around with it a little bit, I really love the changes. I love that you can create a favorites list, so you can easily just click on the star here after you start something up. Actually, can I find that? He was doing that. Uh, Here. See how you click on this? I'm sure there's gonna be like an empty star icon by the time this goes live. But he stars all this stuff, and then anything you star, you just click this, and it'll bring that list up, like he says, almost like a shopping list. And then you can click on the item, and then it'll bring up how many or whatever of those there are currently in the auction house. You could buy it, which I think is genius. It's such an easier way of trying to, especially if you're just trying to find mats or some sort of consumable or something like before raid or whatever. I think that's a very ingenious way of just making it easier, a little bit more streamlined, especially for the casual player to just hurry up, buy what they need, and get to raid. I think that's really cool. Um, the new Mythic Plus affix with these obelisks. I think it's very cool. I think it's going to take some people some time to figure out how they can abuse this to avoid certain enemies, as far as like hitting percentages, while also moving through the dungeon as quickly and as fast as possible to get those +2s and those +3s in your keys. So I think it's a cool fix. It sounds like way better than what we have now. I currently do not like the emissary fix, especially considering they nerfed it so quickly because so many people just complained about it. Now it's really an afterthought. To me, now the affixes don't really. The current affix does nothing. To me, especially if you have a group that can pump out a lot of damage, the Void Emissary now doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. It's you can because you could survive if you're attacking it at full health. You could survive 2 blasts, especially if you have a very good healer. So it'll be interesting to see how this affix changes the way we go about doing Mythic Plus now. It's very curious. I like how you click on the portal. Whoops, let me click back a little bit here. How you click, this character, this rogue, obviously click this portal, and it phased them into the other realm, and how they're easy to watch.
Now, of
I mean,
course,
they just
if you keep
walk
these minions
past
alive
all of these
and you just decide to
mobs
ignore them entirely,
because they're phased out. I think is very cool. I want to go back to. I just want a visual of that art. This art right here, I think this is great. Of Ny'alotha, here's N'Zoth. But anyways, guys, I'm super excited for 8.3. It's supposedly supposed to be going live on the PTR today, which I think is great. It's going to give people a chance probably to check out the Rathian questline firsthand, so they can get a feel for that. Probably some of the assaults. They're probably going to be able to check out the assaults. Probably the first few things. I don't know exactly how much will be available on the PTR today, uh, but it'll be enough to whet some people's appetites for sure. But I'm excited. If I had to guess, I would probably guess, what is it now? It's the 7th of October. So if it goes live on the PTR today, my guess is probably within 2 resets they'll be raid testing. Maybe the end of November, beginning of December, 8.3 could go live. I don't think Blizzard will wait until the new year to release 8.3. Yeah, I really, really don't. There's really no benefit, I think, for them waiting. Because either way, even if they wait till January to release 8.3, it's going to be the last patch of the expansion. Unless they decide to do like a pre-patch kind of quest thing leading into the new expansion, which I'm sure they're going to reveal at BlizzCon. It's possible they could do something like that, maybe like an 8.3.5, where it's like maybe a couple week quest line, like a time gated quest line thing that kind of gets you ramped up for the new expansion. Um, to me, that would be a perfect thing to wait to release next year, like maybe middle to end of January. That way, it gives us a little bit of something. But I mean, we're still going to end up having to wait a year for the new expansion. So to me, there's no real benefit of Blizzard waiting to release 8.3 in 2020. I really think it'll probably be end of November, early December, because that's about usually when like the last raids get released. Um, at least if memory serves, that's about when something like that happens. So, but I'm excited. The new raid, 12 bosses, that's going to be great. I love the fact that we are going to be facing off against N'alotha, the final boss of the raid. As much as I love the Legion, I think Legion to date is the second best expansion behind Wrath of the Lich King, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. But I was extremely disappointed that of the way Legion ended, that we didn't get to face off against I can't even think what his name is now. I'm having a brain fart. But anyways, uh not fighting the guy that was responsible for everything going on in Legion, him not being the last boss of the last raid to me was a huge letdown, a huge disappointment. Um so the fact that we're actually going to be fighting N'alotha as the last boss of the last raid of this expansion is huge to me, because what's been the point then of us doing all of this stuff and kind of really being manipulated throughout the entirety of the expansion? I mean, N'alotha has had his tentacles and his tendrils into everything. He's been manipulating people for who knows how long. We assume it's only been since maybe the end of Legion or at some point during Legion, but he may have been manipulating all of this from the get-go. Like, this was like his grand long con of getting released and being free and trying to, rule over Azeroth again. So the fact that we're going to be able to really get our revenge for all the pain and suffering and torment and corruption that he's caused, I think is great. I think it's a great way to end the expansion. I feel like raid-wise, the raids have gotten significantly better as the expansion has gone on, even though I think the expansion as a whole, most people would say, has not been the best, not been great, but it hasn't been terrible. Um, but I think uh, Battle of the Zarlor was the first good raid of the expansion. The Eternal Palace, really good, really fun. And now we're gonna have the Visions in the Zoth and Ny'alotha. It's the final raid of the expansion where we get to fight an old god, which I think is just it's great. I can't wait to see visually how they interpret N'alotha. Um, are we just gonna fight this big-eyed tentacly thing that looks ginormous, or are they gonna do something similar to Deathwing, where part of the fight you're fighting this big-eyed tentacly thing, and then the second part of the fight he morphs into a much more humanoid-ish looking thing, similar to a lot of like the tentacly guys that you see that we saw in the video. It's possible. I don't know. I have no idea what Blizz has planned for this fight, mechanically, visually. But I'm excited. I'm super excited for 8.3. I can't wait to see more stuff as people go out and try out the PTR. I'm not really a PTR guy. Um, I don't like too much getting ready to play and experience something um, that early. I like doing it with my guild. I think experiencing these things with your friends and with a guild, unless you're doing it all together as a guild and going into PTR to do raid testing and testing out all this other stuff, I think that's different. My guild's not like that. So I'm definitely going to not do the PTR and wait for this stuff to go live and do all this stuff in my guild, because I think that's important. But I'm excited. I'm super, super excited. I think for the most part, everything Ian showed and talked about looks phenomenal. I think it's going to be a great way to end the expansion. Um, I would have loved to maybe gotten a hint as to where the Horde are going to go from here with the death of Sourfang Now not having a war chief, does Bane now take that mantle over? Do they ask Thrall to? Do you know? And then as far as Thrall goes, where does Thrall go from here? Does he stay as he is? Just accept the fact now that he's back to being a warrior, or with this looming threat of N'Zoth, and now that Sylvanas seems to have this weirdly super strong death magic, does Thrall maybe go to the elements? Does he try to reason with them or beg them to regain his powers in order to protect Azeroth? And then that begs the question that if he does do that, what do the elements do? Do they just tell Thrall to go, kick rocks? Or do they accept the fact that if they don't allow Thrall to regain his abilities, powers, what does that mean for Azeroth? What does that mean for the elements? Because when N'Zoth takes over and some of these other old gods are able to come back, what is that going to mean for everything else? I mean, they're going to just wipe the elements away because they want this to be their kingdom, their vision of what the world should be, what Azeroth should be. And then also, as far as Sylvanas goes, where does she get this death magic? A lot of people are expecting that the next expansion is going to be Wrath of the Lich Queen. That somehow she's going to take over the Ice Crown Citadel, that she's going to gain the power of the Lich King. I don't know. I feel like that kind of, even though it does kind of sound cool, I feel like that would just be kind of rehashing something old while still trying to make it new. I don't think that'd be original enough. I do think that going forward, wherever she got this power from, is definitely going to be the underlining tone of the next expansion for sure. But I don't think she's going to be the Lich Queen. I really don't. Unless this whole time, as much as N'Zoth has been manipulating and scheming behind the scenes, unless this whole time the Lich King's plan he's known that this was going to happen, and he's just sat back, done nothing, let the rest of Azeroth do what they're gonna do, and then he secretly has teamed up with Sylvanas, maybe imbued her with some Lich King-ish power, and the two of them together, their plan is to wait and see what's left, and then not just rule over Ice Crown Citadel, but rule over the entirety of Azeroth as the Lich King and Queen. Is it possible? Sure. Is it likely? I don't know. I just kind of thought of that. Hadn't really given that much thought before. I like that idea better than her just walking to the ICC and taking over the mantle of the Lich King / Queen. I kind of like that better than it just being her. But I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. BlizzCon's just around the corner. They're going to announce the new expansion. So who knows? But I'm sure they're going to blow us out of the water with another fantastic cinematic. But for right now, 8.3. If I had to rank it, I'd give it I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10. Just from what Ian showed us and talked about in this content update, I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10. I think for the most part, Blizzard has hit the nail on the head. I didn't even recover the possibly getting rid of the Titanforge system. Thank God for that. But anyways, again, 8 out of 10 for this current content update. That may go up or down depending on what new things come out. But I think for right now, 8.3 looks to be a great way to end the expansion. With all the new stuff they're going to be introducing, the new assaults, the new raid. Maybe, fingers crossed, I'm kind of hoping for a new dungeon. Maybe not, because we just got Mechagon and they haven't even released that in M Plus yet. So, but anyways, overall, I think it's looking good. It's looking real good, and everything that Blizz keeps talking about, that if you were going to, I mean, they've said it multiple times, that if you were ever going to go to BlizzCon any year, or watch it online through the pass, this would be the year to do it. They've said it. I've seen tweets, seen people say this. I don't know how many times. If you're going to witness one BlizzCon, it needs to be this one. So what that tells me is that whatever the next expansion is going to be, whatever they're going to release about the future of World of Warcraft, it is literally going to, at least in their eyes, is going to blow away everything else they've ever done. Every other expansion they've ever given us, every other storyline, every other boss, every other mechanic, feature, anything, all of that is going to seem like child's play compared to whatever it is they're going to release at BlizzCon. So I might be spending $50 on the BlizzCon pass and watch it from home. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, guys, let me know what you thought about this new developer content update preview for patch 8.3. Are you as excited and as pumped as I am? Please let me know down in the comment section below. Tell me if you're excited. Tell me if you could care less. Tell me, oh, people are still playing this dumb retail. Why aren't you playing classic? Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. Also, if you guys could hit the like and subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. It would tell me that not only did you like my reaction to this video, but that you want to see more future content from me. Also, you can check me out on Twitch. You can see the regular link in the upper right there, here, right there. See it right here. Upper left-hand corner of the screen, but there will be a link down in the description box below that you can click. And when you get there to my Twitch channel, if you guys could click on the little heart and follow the channel, and I'll let you know anytime I go live. You guys can always check me out live on Twitch. I should be live again tonight. Probably playing some. Well, I might play a little bit of WoW, but I think tonight I might be streaming some League of Legends. It all depends on whether or not Stream Elements decides to continue to shit on my computer or not, but we'll see about that. Also, down in the description box below, you will get a couple links to some of my social media accounts, primarily my Twitter that I primarily use to promote my Twitch and YouTube channel. Then also, I believe my Instagram account, which I really haven't done much with lately, so maybe don't click on that. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my reaction to this content update for patch 8.3. Again, let me know down in the description box below what you guys think. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope this Monday starts off a great week for everybody, and I will see you nerds later. Peace.